Welcome to Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television. Iron Port is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, Well PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, MPS, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. The show is proudly powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority-GPHA, and our media partner on this journey of a lifetime is the Business and Financial Times, BNFT. Now, if you want to have a grasp of all that transpired in the show tonight, make a date and grab the Thursday edition of the BNFT, and you'll be able to read all that happened here on the show. Tonight, we are streaming live on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are streaming live at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Still on Facebook, we are live at Port of Tema. And on YouTube, we are streaming live at Iron Port. Now, we shall be getting interactive with you, and so all you have to do is sit back, relax, grab your phones, and send us your messages and comments ahead via our dedicated WhatsApp line, which is 0538 037353. 0538 037353. When the time is ripe, and I pick signals from the production team, which will activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. My name is Kennedy Mona. We are going for a quick break. When we return, we will continue with the show. Please stay with us.
Good energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP, Wufilia, huh? Wubefeel. Goil, good energy. Yeah, yeah.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Tell God, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Welcome to today's edition of Serene Insurance Business News. We present to you Serena.
You're right. You can complete an entire insurance process for the purchase of any motor and other insurance products, from onboarding to issuing a motor insurance sticker and policy certificate, all on WhatsApp in less than 10 minutes. Serena is simple to use and it prioritizes user ease and flexibility. You can either use voice notes or text to effortlessly issue your instant policy, cross-platform renewals, claims, and also process your payments through mobile money, Visa, and MasterCard. To engage Serena, just search for Serena Insurance on all social media handles and scan the Serena barcode or save her number 0500 517 114 and start chatting her on WhatsApp immediately.
There you have it. Serena is not just a tool. It's an innovation by Serene Insurance designed to redefine how motor and travel insurance are accessed and managed. Speed, convenience, and reliability.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
At Phoenix Insurance, we make the unpredictable predictable and the uncertain certain with our range of products, including motor insurance, fire insurance, engineering insurance, marine insurance, accident insurances, and all types of bonds. We have you covered. We also support you with risk management advice to enable you stay focused on your business. Take a policy with Phoenix Insurance today. We help you rise from adversity stronger and more secure. Contact us on 0302 246319 or 0302 246644 or any of our branches, agencies, and brokers spread across the nation. You can as well connect with us on our WhatsApp chatbot. FIBA is waiting to assist you. Make the future predictable with Phoenix Insurance. Phoenix Insurance, a delightful service experience delivered with wisdom.
All right, so welcome back. We are now going straight to take a look at happenings in the port and shipping industry over the last week.
The Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, General Paul Seidu Tanye Kulono, has reiterated the authority's commitment to improving the ease of doing business at Ghana's ports. Addressing a section of port stakeholders during an engagement section, Brigadier General Tanye Kulono emphasized GPHA's resolve to make port operations more efficient, less cumbersome, and cost-effective for the trading community. The meeting provided a platform to update stakeholders on ongoing improvements, exchange ideas on trade facilitation, and gather feedback aimed at enhancing service delivery across the ports. As part of infrastructure upgrades, the Director General announced plans to dredge the port of Tema by the end of the first quarter of 2026. This, he explained, would significantly improve vessel turnaround time. He also disclosed that GPHA has taken delivery of 15 out of 30 trucks acquired to assist in evacuating containers from MPS Terminal 3 to Terminal 2. This intervention, he noted, has already reduced container backlog from nearly 5,000 to 993 as of last week.
So hopefully, the plan is that by next week we'll hit zero, so that the standard 3 days, maximum days that container stays at MPS, we'll get to that level. My people are doing well. I want to promise that by the end of this month, we should hit the 2-3 days dwelling days at MPS. So that at the end of the day, we also encourage your people that as much as possible, they shouldn't also wait till last minute before trying to clear their goods. And this year we'll be dredging at the ports, so plans are well advanced and it will be completed by the end of the year or first quarter next year.
On infrastructure challenges, he acknowledged the poor state of roads leading to the port and assured stakeholders that reconstruction works would commence soon.
For now, we are trying to level the road that comes into the ports. Plans are well advanced, and I'm sure by the end of the second quarter, and the construction will start. And so I think it's estimated to take about 6 months or less. So if you can appeal to your members that during the construction, there may be diversions and other restrictive measures, so they should just bear with us.
The president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, Dr. Joseph Obeng, commended the Director General for engaging stakeholders and pledged GUTA's unwavering support towards GPHA's ongoing efforts.
Business thrives on the trade facilitation that you people will provide us. Then what is the facilitation all about? It's time of doing business, the cost of doing business, and the ease of doing business. And I could deduce that all of these were captured in your summary. That it gave me comfort. And then the fact that we are going to also work together, as you said, I'm happy trading community is going to give all our support to you
Other members present called for enhanced collaboration to streamline port operations and improve information flow.
The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has heeded the cry of the motoring public in the port city of Tema by rehabilitating the Mangoadze Roundabout to Harbour Roundabout Road. The road, which had deteriorated significantly in recent weeks, had become nearly impassable and a major source of traffic congestion, with motorists and stakeholders in the shipping industry complaining and calling on the Port Authority to help ameliorate the situation.
I'm using heavy duty truck. Now do na problem I nya wa ha no na enye easy kra. Eba special Burkina trucks so mo basa na omo cars no ewa na emo odu si ye de no ti be break spring timi bu normal block traffic ewa ha. At times I had to be block ma ekwan bi enu a obefa na akonfo brepa special heavy duty trucks for no ye na ya e bread do pa
we say cars ni bi especially trailer drivers ni niti person kwana akomu kurant e ba ne sabo se na container ne ye den eye fiso na to phone bi wonu ma na car na sa ye asama sorti age so mu coffee clean cab and say we ba forklift bands and etumi aba den e be peja car na sia ye den esi wonu mu
akwano enya ya kasa sa akwano ufa so a amna potros kesie bi ka kesie besia no mokam ya kaka meyo emocho ya kacho mo mu fie ya kan no mo se ombe omonko.
After a series of appeals from the public and stakeholders alike, the Port Authority initiated action towards restoring the road. To address this urgent situation, GPHA commissioned MERS PA Engineering Limited under a certificate of emergency to restore the road within 16 days. The initiative forms part of a joint corporate social responsibility effort by GPHA and the contractor, with GPHA providing construction materials and PA Engineering supplying the necessary equipment.
Kapwa penny for to be frank, omaya de pan ye de asida any aye na de momo omaya de because oman hwe say ekwan ne ba beda o sa say cars ne stay na no mo be de ombe to fomu o
na kapwa for ye da mosi say omoye kwan na mai nyame hye omo
na ye bisa na kapwa for na omo ye tie da omasi ba omaya de.
The Director General of GPHA, Brigadier General Paul Seidu Tanyakulonu, and his team on Wednesday, May 21st, toured the project site to inspect the progress of work. Brigadier General Tanyakulonu impressed upon the contractor to endeavor to complete the project within the stipulated time. Accompanying the Director General was the Director of Port of Tema, Tebonzuma Esquire, General Manager Engineering, Engineer Kwablan Ofori, and some management members of GPHA. As part of efforts to expedite the evacuation of containers from the Meridian Port Services Terminal 3 to various inland container depots within the port of Tema, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA, has commenced the construction of a dedicated link road. This initiative, the T2-T3 link road, is a component of the larger Central Gate to Harbour Roundabout Exit Lane project. The road is expected to provide a direct and efficient connection between the main port and Terminal 3, thereby enhancing traffic flow and reducing container transit time. On Wednesday, May 21st, 2025, the Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Brigadier General Paul Seidu Tanyakulonu, led a team that included the Director of Port of Tema, Tebonzuma Esquire, and other members of management to inspect progress at the construction site. Brigadier General Tanyakulonu emphasized that the project is a strategic step towards improving logistical efficiency within the port by streamlining container transfers from Terminal 3 to other terminals.
As it stands now, the big containers from here, they have to go through town. It's about 2 to 3 kilometers. When the distance is about less than 1 kilometer. So that leads to a longer turnaround time. And at the end of the day, less containers are moved from MPS to the various terminals. So when this bridge is completed and the road is shortened, it will reduce the turnaround time. And our aim basically is to ensure that our vehicles will be at MPS waiting for containers.
Once completed, the link road is expected to enhance operational efficiency by shortening the distance between Terminal 3 and other port terminals, ultimately accommodating the growing volume of cargo traffic. These strategic projects reflect GPHA's ongoing commitment to improving port infrastructure and ensuring seamless logistics operations within the Tema Port enclave.
The Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority, Dr. Kamauddin Ali, has undertaken an unannounced visit to the authority's Tema branch office as part of a broader effort to strengthen accountability and enhance operational efficiency within the maritime sector. The surprise inspection was aimed at gaining first-hand insight into the day-to-day operations of the branch and engaging directly with both personnel and seafarers undergoing certification processes. Dr. Kamauddin was received and led on tour by the Tema branch head, Engineer Emmanuel Tupei. Speaking to the media during the visit, Dr. Kamauddin Ali explained that the impromptu engagement was intended as a litmus test of staff diligence and service delivery, reflecting his commitment to ensuring that the authority lives up to its mandate in the eyes of the Ghanaian public.
I've taken that surprise visit at my own risk. I'm a new DG, but I've been in the office for 3 months. I am aware that my predecessors have built and I'm coming to continue. But I'm also aware that there's also a new momentum. There is a change in the country. Our president is providing us with a certain level of leadership. How are we collectively as a people responding to that? On the whole, my impression looks good. That staff members do respond to work at a very good time.
Following his interaction at the branch office, Dr. Kamauddin Ali and his team proceeded to the Tema Fishing Harbour, where they observed an enforcement exercise involving operators engaged in removal of submerged scrap metal from shipwrecks. While acknowledging the importance of clearing such wrecks to enhance navigational safety, Dr. Kamauddin stressed the need for strict adherence to legal and environmental protocols.
The Fed Women in Trade and Investment Conference has taken place in Accra, bringing together women entrepreneurs, policymakers, development partners and trade professionals from Ghana and across the continent. Conveyed by the Women of Africa Network 1 in partnership with EcoBank Ghana and the After Policy Network, the event highlighted the critical role women play in Africa's economic transformation. Held under the theme Making the 21st Century Woman Export Ready, the 3-day conference is a response to the persistent barrier women face in international trade, from limited access to financing and technical training to gaps in export compliance and market exposure. In her welcome address, Dr. Gladys Nkrumah, Executive Director of ONE, called the conference a defining moment for women's trade empowerment, citing that equal labor participation by women could add up to $28 trillion to global GDP by 2025.
Empowering women in trade is far more than a matter of equity. It is a strategic economic necessity. Research indicates that equal participation of women in labor market could add up to $28 trillion to the global GDP in 2025. When women succeed, families prosper, communities strengthen, and sustainability development accelerates.
These thoughts were corroborated by the Executive Director for the After Policy Network, Louise Yao Afol.
I want to emphasize one point. We don't only focus on trade and investment, but women empowerment. And that is what ONE stands for, to fight for the rights, the trade rights, investment rights of all the women in Africa.
Swiss Ambassador to Ghana, Togo and Benin, Her Excellency Simone Giga, stressed that supporting women in commerce is a strategic investment for Ghana and Africa's future.
By empowering women in trade, well, let me put it like that. This is for us not just a moral imperative and a question of equity, but it is really also a strategic economic investment for Ghana. And I think it's also an investment for the entire African continent.
Delivering a keynote speech on behalf of the Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Honorable Elizabeth Ofosu-Ejari, a representative from the ministry emphasized the government's dedication to empowering women entrepreneurs.
The Ghana Revenue Authority, Tema Community 1 Taxpayer Service Center, TSC, has held its annual tax clinic calling on clients to study the country's tax laws. The tax clinic was on the theme Transforming for Impact and Growth, Accelerating Domestic Revenue Mobilization Through Effective Compliance. The office manager at the GRA Tema Community 1 Taxpayer Service Center, Assistant Commissioner Prosper K. Goza, emphasized the need for the business community to be abreast with Ghana's tax laws in order not to breach them. He explained that after the due date, a penalty of 500 Ghana cedis is applied, after which each day of default attracts 10 Ghana cedis, stressing that GRA does not take delight in closing down businesses for lack of compliance.
Complying goes with costs, but if you don't comply, the penalty is so huge. And the system has also been configured in such a way that if you have an arrears, which you don't pay early, as soon as you pay, it gives you interest. So please, we are pleading with you, just try effective compliance. Once you comply, we are all good to go.
A debt management officer, Collins Obin, in a presentation said the benefit of tax compliance included taxation being the fundamental pillar for the country's financial revenue, avoidance of sanctions for failure to comply, access to government services, having investor confidence in their businesses, and financial stability.
Certain government benefits, including contracts, importation permits, and land title registration, requires a track record of tax compliance. Businesses that demonstrate tax compliance are more attractive to investors, lenders, and partners, fostering growth and not expansion. So this is what investors also look at. So if you want to attract investors, please voluntarily comply with the tax laws.
All right, so those were happenings in the port and shipping industry over the last week. We're zooming straight into our discussion for tonight, and tonight we're taking a look at our ports and how to inject some level of efficiency. Indeed, we're taking a look particularly at overstayed containers. And you know, if a port can function efficiently and effectively, it means that there should be a smooth and quick turnaround time. But I think that when you come to the port of Tema, there's this issue of overstayed containers. What accounts for that? And so we have actually assembled a team tonight to delve into the issues. We're taking some perspectives from some stakeholders in the port community. And we couldn't have had this discussion without actually coming in with a person or a resource person from the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority itself. And so we have Mr. David Songotu, who is the manager in charge of logistics in the port of Tema, who is here in the studios. Good evening, sir, and welcome.
Good evening.
I immediately left Madam Esther Abekuji. She's the Chief Revenue Officer of the Ghana Revenue Authority. She's also the Systems Administrator at the Tema Collection of the Customs Division, Ghana Revenue Authority. Good evening, ma'am, and welcome. Good to have you in the studios once again. And to my right is Nana Fredria Ajimai Ufreata, who is mourning. His father has passed, and the funeral arrangements are underway. We extend our deepest condolences to you, sir. You are a friend of Iron Port, and we are with you each step of the way. Deepest condolences, and welcome to the show tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for welcoming me.
Absolutely. Right, so let me begin with Mr. Songotu, and first of all, find out from you, when we say overstayed containers, what do we mean?
Thank you. Thank you so much, and thank you to your cherished listeners. When we say overstayed containers, we are simply referring to containers that have overstayed their due in the port. In other words, containers are supposed to spend 21 days according to customs, and then vehicles 60 days according to custom law. However, the Port Authority, we have a kind of understanding with customs, and we say that containers are like dry cargo, like the cars. So for that matter, 60 days. And any container that stays beyond 60 days without being cleared, we refer that container as overstayed container. And immediately goes to uncleared container list, UCL.
Uncleared cargo list, that's the UCL.
Yes, UCL.
Right. Okay, we'll be coming going deeper into UCL, but let me still stay with you and find out if you can tell us how prevalent this particular situation is in our ports.
Currently in our port, it's very, very prevalent. Containers have overstayed so many years, sometimes 3 years. We have containers that are even there for 3 years. We have containers for 2 years. We have containers for a year. We have containers for 9 months, 6 months, 7 months, coming down to 3 months and 2 months. So it is a big, big problem. Consignees or importers are not making their way to the port to clear their cargoes. They are turning the port into a storage area, which is completely wrong.
Right. Okay. And do you have any numbers for us in terms of right now, currently, how many overstayed containers do we have in the
Currently, we are having over 1,000 boxes that are overstayed.
Right.
That are on what you call
the UCL.
UCL.
Right.
And we have been able to do something a bit about it by starting to clear them to our new container terminal, the Kumajuru Unity Container Terminal at Pung. Yes, we have started doing that and to reduce the numbers for new containers to come in. And I cannot be excited by that singular decision that management took rapidly so that we could move those containers swiftly to that area to ease way for the new containers to come in. So far in Pong, I think we have about 335 boxes being transferred. Tonight, we'll move another set of boxes there.
We have how many there right now?
About 355.
355. Okay.
About.
Okay. Awesome. All right, so let me come to Madam, and I'll give you, the opportunity to also take a bite at your understanding of an overstayed container in the port, even though Mr. Songoto seems to have dealt with it.
So, in customs parlance, when you talk of overstayed containers, it refers to manifested imports into the country, which are not cleared within the statutory free period. It used to be, it used to be 7 days, and then per an MOU, it was extended by another 14. So now it's 21. And I think it's overstayed because those goods come in containers. So hence the terminology. But we have categories. If there are goods either discharged by a vessel or an aircraft, after 21 days, it goes on UCL. Vehicles are 60 days. At the frontiers, it's 18 days after arrival. If you go to our bonded warehouses, there are statutory periods allowed for you to warehouse. So if there are perishables, 3 months. If there are general goods, 1 year. If raw materials, it's 2 years. So any period beyond that, it goes on UCL. Then we have transit. If it arrives after 2 months and it has not been cleared, it's still regarded as a UCL cargo.
Right.
Then for transshipment, we are looking at not clearing or re-exporting in 3 months post-arrival.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. That's
You're
awesome. Nana Fredia. Yes. You're from the standpoint or the viewpoint of the freight forwarders. You represent Cuba, Customs Brokers Association of Ghana. Tell us what your understanding of overstayed containers in the port is.
Well, generally, like my friends have already put across, generally when we say goods have overstayed, it means they haven't been cleared within the legally prescribed time frame.
Yes.
Or like you said, the statutory 21 days for general goods.
Yes.
And 60 days for vehicles. So anything beyond that is considered goods that have overstayed or not cleared. And then there are processes that it undergoes beyond the statutory period.
Okay.
And it ends up with the state warehouse. And then further on, it will be processed, gazetted, eventually either auctioned or allocated.
Right.
To declare them. But some, like we heard from Gapoa, some have stayed for years. I mean, we have the famous case of the ECG containers, which stayed there for only God knows why for that period of time.
Right.
And then through machinations of people, we found some of them disappearing. Yeah, like granules.
Right.
So this is generally what we mean by uncleared cargo.
Okay. All right. So when you say disappearing like granules, that is quite not a fair comment to make, because we know there are institutions responsible for the clearance of cargo in the ports. And so perhaps we've not done our homework well, and that's how come people outside perceive that they just disappeared. But maybe if you go into it, you would understand that it actually did not disappear.
Yeah, no container can go past the boom barrier without being certified to go.
Exactly.
So when we say containers have disappeared,
exactly. So it probably has not disappeared, and we are grateful that we have the logistics manager here. Maybe I'm sure would be getting to him, but we don't want to go into that because we might digress from the purpose for which we are here. Yeah. So let me come to Mr. Songotu once again and find out from you, if we have overstayed containers in the port, what challenges do they pose to operations?
A lot of challenges. If you have a cup of tea and you keep pouring the tea in the cup and the cup is full, what happens? You either drink it and replace it, or you find it difficult to add. Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to the port, the first thing, right from ship operations or vessel operations to the delivery end, it has its own impact. Even the equipment that we use,
yes,
the operational equipment, the movement of operational equipment becomes very, very difficult. And when we come to overstay containers, it causes congestion in the first place. And once there is congestion, there's delay in clearance.
Yes.
And if there's delay in clearance, it tends to cost the port that's doing business in the port so high. So it is important that congestion be minimized to allow clearance to quickly take place, and also to allow operational equipment to be able to move the containers. If you look at our port today, once the quayside is congested, it means that the yard is congested. And once the yard is congested, it means that customers are not coming for their cargo. And when customers are not coming for their cargo as it should, and today, unfortunately, and fortunately for Ghana, August 2024, we saw the influx of containers coming into the country for various reasons.
Yes.
You will agree with me that with the Transit Alliance countries now tend to have a high taste for containerized cargo.
Yes.
And they prefer using Ghana ports because of the expertise and the stability when it comes to security and all that we have. So that has come to also increase. And also we saw the influx of containers coming from Eastern Europe towards August, September, and that point. And normally the peak of our containerized cargo is somewhere November, December.
Right.
These days it has changed. Even the first quarter that we normally consider as a lean season has become the peak season.
Right.
First quarter, as I speak, every minute we are discharging containers from MPS, and we are discharging containers from Terminal 2, BEF 1 and BEF 2. So if we don't take the containers, if we don't clear the containers as early as possible, then we are adding more into what we cannot put because the space is already. So it's more or less an attitudinal issue. And I keep saying that even if you give us Elwak Stadium or if you give us Accra Sports Stadium, and this attitude still continue, it's going to
end up getting choked.
Yes, it's going to end up getting choked. It's not about the port. It's about the attitude, the responsibility that each and every individual should take to make sure that what you bring in, take it out for another person to bring his or hers.
Right. Awesome. Let me come to Nana Fredia and find out from you why you think that some of these containers overstay in the port, because you are at the forefront leading the charge to clear these on behalf of your clients, that's importers and exporters. So how come that most of the time, or how come that at the moment we're experiencing, this challenge of having a lot of boxes, piled up in the port, getting stuck in the port, and nobody seems to care?
Indeed, there are myriad of issues that account for the overstay of containers. And suffice to say that no importer really will bring something in if they don't intend to clear it.
Right.
So there should be real reasons why they stay. And if you ask me, the bottom line for all the delays is financials. I mean, we are blessed that in the last, couple of months, our exchange rate is declining, is going down. And so importers are having, some ease on their pockets. What used to happen in times past is the fluctuation of the CD against the main trading currencies.
The dollar, yeah.
And so by the time you ship and your things get to Ghana, the budget you had made to clear your stuff has been overshot by so many, thousands of CDs. And then people have to run around to try and make up the shortfall occasioned by the exchange rate disparities. And this has been the main reason why most of the containers overstay. And beyond that, sometimes it's also occasioned by delay in notification of the shipper by the shipping lines. And then sometimes people want to clear their goods. They come in as a part container. They come in as a short-landed cargo, and it's a project cargo. Things like that occasionally. There are also sometimes the delays in processing. It's also one of the causes. A lot of bureaucracy in our part of the world.
Right.
So these are the major ones. But the main issue is financial. Yeah.
So one would ask that if you are bringing in some consignment or goods, you probably would have done your due diligence and realized or noted that this particular thing that I'm bringing in is supposed to attract this amount of cash in terms of duty. Don't they do that due diligence before importing the goods so that, we wouldn't have these challenges of, I don't have the money yet to clear, I'm now running around to look for money and all that. And we know that our system is such that you can begin the process of clearing before the goods even arrive.
Sure. Like we said, nobody brings in cargo and they want it to remain there. Most of the goods that come in are not personal effect, are commercial. Maybe it comes even as a consolidated, where a lot of traders, small-scale traders, put their stuff together in 140-footer container. It's all commercial, no matter the volumes that they bring in. But this industry, shipping, it thrives on predictability and certainty. So, like I'm saying, somebody may have budgeted, I'm going to China, I want to bring in this stuff, or Turkey, and my agent has told me how much it will cost me to clear. They've budgeted for all of this, and it gets here, and then these challenges come in. Our customs are always hell-bent on making sure they meet their targets.
Absolutely.
And suffice to say, sometimes along the year, when they realize at some point the target has not been met, or they risk not meeting the target, sometimes they do a few things.
A few things, like you are accusing, you don't have any evidence to substantiate what you are saying.
No, we change a few of the things. For instance, sometimes with things like, if I be specific, like maybe diaper bills and things like that, they change the way they do the computation. Sometimes they come to do it by weight, and sometimes they change. These things, we know they are technical things, and they do them to be able to show up revenue. And all of these things, like I'm saying,
sure you, Mr.
we are very sure. We've had to, sit and go and argue our case. Argue our case most of the time on these instances because, the bottom line is nobody brings in stuff they don't want to clear.
Right.
So when they get here and they get stuck, means something has changed. And most often than not is the exchange rate. That's the biggest culprit. But sometimes, like I'm saying, when the authorities realize that things are not going well, they change some of the things. Sometimes not because of meeting targets, but because they found out also that there are some loopholes that agents are taking advantage of. So they tighten the noose a little bit. And then it makes it difficult for the importer to be able to clear.
Right.
Because, they realize that the eagle eye is really and then the people will not be able to clear.
Right.
So these are the things, but nobody will really want to bring their stuff because when we are unable to clear the goods for the importer or the shipper, at the end of the day, it's the government that loses.
Yeah.
Because the goods might end up in state warehouse, like we are saying, it might end up being auctioned or even being allocated. And you don't get a tenth of the value. Even though that's what's supposed to be. It's supposed to at least take care of the Because you don't get it.
Right.
And so there are people in the port, I mean, it's a human institution. There are people, there are cabals that work on these things.
Yeah.
They make sure things deliberately go to UCL. And then they'll find a way to make sure that the thing comes back to them at almost zero, no cost.
I see.
And these things are there. We pointed out severally, but they are cabals. I mean,
Wow.
they are cabals operating in this port.
I see.
Sometimes you point it out,
That's
Gapoa
a
has
serious
worked
one.
on a few of them, and I mean, there's reluctance of the duty bearers.
You
to
said
start
Gapoa
the-
has done what? You mentioned
Oh,
Gapoa.
I mean, Gapoa has set up committees that we have to sit on,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
containers leaving the port.
Yeah.
And even sometimes when they have been allocated to people, they get to any of the terminals, they take this Atlas or Amaris, and you get there and the container has been ransacked. So there are real things that happen at the port. Sometimes it's deliberate, but more than 80% is a genuine case where the importer, I mean, now has a shortfall and they have to run around to try and, I mean, find the money. Sometimes, like I've said, the shipping lines, I mean, delay notification.
Right.
On the days they give that the ship will bet, it hasn't. And then finally, when it comes in, they don't have the exchange rate has affected their resources. Genuinely, these
Okay.
are some of the
So,
things.
madam, let me give you, I don't want us to forget this particular point of you sometimes trying to do things, funny things, in quotes, you know, to show up revenue. And for which reason, you know, they are not able to match up in terms of accessing the finance to clear their books.
Valuation.
Is this something that you do? Because you are systems administrator.
Yeah,
and so if
well,
anything can happen in the system, it
you
has
know,
to, come to you.
Thank you. When he said that, in another breath, he answered it himself.
Right.
That sometimes these things are done when loopholes
Are identified
have
and you want
been
to see, yeah.
identified.
Yeah.
Because, you know, total quality management is about continuous improvement. So clearance has to do with self-declaration.
Right.
So if you are supposed to self-declare, and at the end of the day, you declare what is not in your container, definitely we will come in if detected to do the right thing. So that is what I can say.
Okay.
It's not only when, okay, like he said it, where the revenue is not coming.
Yes.
No, you know, you are giving the benefit of the doubt.
yeah.
But later, when we detect that there are abuses, then of course, based on evidence on the ground, we up our game or we put certain things in
place. To
and
check
he's
that.
aware. Yeah.
All right, okay. All right, so I'll come to you, madam. When I come to you, I would want to tell us at what point you come in or at what point you are notified about the uncleared cargo list. But I'll get Mr. Somotu to tell us, if you can give us a step-by-step process, walk us through what happens before the goods finally go onto the UCL, the uncleared cargo list.
Okay. So all the ICDs that we have,
that's the inland container
that's
depots.
the inland
ICDs, yes.
container depots.
Yes.
They have what you call control rooms.
Yes.
And all of them have their managers.
Right.
So the managers will task the control room to make sure that they create containers that have stayed more than 2 months, that is 60 days.
Right.
And then when they generate that list, they transfer it to the terminal manager. The terminal manager will in turn put a covering letter to the director of port, informing the director of port that there are these containers that are now on UCL because they have overstayed. The director of port will then put a covering letter to the sector commander, DRA Custom Division. And the sector commander probably would inform his state warehouse in charge.
Yes.
And the letter would then, they would take that list, generated list, and then write back, authorizing the Port Authority to transfer these containers that are said to be on UCL to UCL terminals.
Yes.
And that is Amaris, Atlas, and the different overseas. So that is a process. Now, today, I'm glad to also say that all these things that my good friend was raising, it could be true, because some of even the UCL containers were not even getting to the various UCL terminals. Some were diverted, some were cleared, and the owners will come later on and they want to claim these boxes.
Exactly.
In fact, this happened, I'm talking about 2024 and beyond, but this time around, it does not happen anymore.
Okay.
It has ceased immediately.
Where people deliberately
connive to get certain containers. But you see,
to overstay.
Yes,
so
to
they
overstay.
pass behind and come
Exactly.
and buy, you know.
But you see, let me add this, which is quite disheartening, that people sit behind just to watch containers going to UCL.
Yeah.
And there are specifics they are looking out for.
Big
cargo like oil, like they call it textiles, like chinampa, or they call it sardine.
The milk powder, I understand.
Milk powder. They identify those ones quickly, and even when the container is not even up to UCL. I was a transit terminal manager.
Yes.
I speak on facts.
Yes.
Okay. And there was a container that was just 9 days, and they wanted to carry it away.
Who?
I said no.
They did.
So quickly I called and one good thing is, as port authorities, we have to create friendship. We have to work together with customs.
Yeah.
I used to relate so well with my custom colleagues, especially the one in charge of State Warehouse.
Right.
So I said, my friend, have you checked your UCL list very well? It is A, B, C, D. Then we quickly say, oh, Dave, please don't let it go. And that is the kind of conversation I would always encourage terminals to be having with the colleagues at the other side.
Yes.
Because it's a custom port. And when they write a letter
demanding
you that transfer this to this place, it is mandatory.
You have to oblige.
Right? But when you see that, no, it has its own implications, even to them and to the port, you have to intervene. Then by probably making sure that you communicate properly and make sure that particular container does not go.
Right.
But there are a whole lot of implications on the UCL. But I'm happy today, as we speak, all this
is a thing of the past.
And I pray that it doesn't come back again.
Right. Right. Yes, ma'am. So tell us, at what point do you receive the UCL, and then what do you do next once the uncleared cargo list has been brought to your attention as customs?
So the system has been provisioned with the statutory clearance period for the category of cargo that I outlined earlier.
Right. So
once it hits or it goes beyond that, the system alerts.
Right.
So it can be printed on our system. But like logistic manager said, there's that camaraderie where the list is generated, it goes to the officer in charge, State Warehouse, then they are moved to the designated storage areas. And so that's it. But that is system-wise.
Yes.
But like per our operations. But like Nana Fredria said, in terms of alerting the importer, it's their responsibility, the shipper or the shipping lines. Because sometimes he enumerated reasons why containers overstay.
Yes.
Sometimes some of the importers have late notices of arrival. Sometimes even the BLs that are issued to them are different from what they have in the manifest.
Yes.
Sometimes they come with errors. Sometimes there are vehicles which should come with the VIN number or something. The person processes their declaration at the point where they want to match manifest. Then the system suspends the declaration.
Right.
They have to go back to do an amendment and a whole lot of that.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Somotu, you want to add?
I think I have a problem with this issue of my container is in, I am not aware. I have a serious problem with that. Because look, this is a system-wise. You can track your container wherever you are. You can sit at home and track your container. You just need a container number and then the vessel.
Right.
And you can know every moment where the vessel is. And you see, within 72 hours, you could have started
The process of clearing.
Processing of your documents. And by the day, you can use 24 hours to clear your containers or your cargo.
Right.
If all of us are alert, like he said, it's about finance.
Yeah.
But I always say that you have to plan before you import. You don't plan and you import, you will get hung up and you end up leaving the containers at the port. And the port is just a temporal storage place.
Absolutely.
It's transiting.
Yeah.
The cargo is just transiting to the owner.
Yeah.
So we don't have much time because when you fail to take your container will not be discharged from the vessel. And when the container is not discharged from the vessel, there's a delay.
Yeah.
And that vessel is going to pay dearly because the engine and everything is propelling, they are using fuel, they are paying for the crew and all that. And the port gets congested.
Yes.
And that is why it becomes very expensive to clear from the port sometimes. So we must all pay attention to what we import when the cargo is supposed to come in or the container is coming in.
Right.
And you get ready for it.
Absolutely.
I think we must pay attention to that.
I'll still stick with you and then find out from you if there is any system in place by which the Port Authority currently manages or tracks some of these containers, and whether there are any penalties or fees that people who flout pay.
Yeah, currently we put a system in place, both human escort and system wise.
Yes.
In fact, we have deployed, our Director General is a military man. We have deployed the military to help us to escort the containers from the UCL bit to the end, that's to the Kumajiro Unity terminal.
Yeah.
And also we deploy a tracking system on every truck. So we know where, as I sit here, I can to know where, if we start, I'll know where the trucks are, where they've loaded, where they've gotten to. And that is a system that we put in place to make sure that containers are well escorted and they get to the terminal safely.
Yes.
And that is it. For the cost for now, we have not yet put any cost on the transfer. We want to see how it will take off before we can look at the cost. But in the future, definitely there will be a cost because the distance is almost about 10 kilometers, and that is a lot of fuel burning. That's a lot of equipment utilization. And what management is even trying to do, which is very laudable, and that I'm sure people will buy to it, is we'll turn that place to a UCL terminal, and then we'll run it as a UCL terminal.
Yes.
See, we have about 1,748 car park. We have a bank, we have a restaurant, we have the ultra-modern offices.
Yes.
And we have a fire station.
Yes.
We have a mechanical workshop.
Absolutely.
It is one of the most beautiful ICD I have ever found.
You mean Unity?
Yes.
Oh, when you get there, you think you are in some.
Oh yeah, you
don't.
Country, you think you are completely
out of Ghana. That's true. Yeah.
Well organized, well skilled.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we took the customs there, and they were so.
Amused.
Hilarious. They were amused. They said,
amazed,
"Why? What are you doing with this particular facility here?
Yes.
It's been long."
Yeah.
This facility was constructed during His Excellency President John Mahama's administration.
Okay.
And we didn't put it to use.
Not this current, his first administration.
We didn't put it to use until now.
Yes.
And in fact, I think this is the moment. Now the port is congested. Fortunately, is there for us.
Absolutely.
And we are going to decongest the port as soon as possible. With our 30 trucks that we also bought to ensure that we evacuate all our containers.
Yeah.
I heard you heard the Director General talking about it. But let me tell you, as it is now, we're saying that when it's going to take 72 hours, in other words, the dry boxes will take 72 hours after the departure of the vessel.
You have to break it down for the viewer who is viewing now. When you say dry boxes, What do you mean?
When I say dry boxes, I mean boxes carrying
containers.
Containers. I'm talking about now. Let me be clear here. We use these words alternatively: boxes, units, containers. These three expressions.
What the ordinary man on the street knows is container. If you say a box, he will go and think there's some packing case somewhere.
So we are saying that when the vessel arrives, after 72 hours, all containers should be cleared from that particular vessel.
Right.
And we are also saying that with the reefer containers, after 12 hours after the vessel is gone, we should clear all containers, the reefer containers. And another good thing is, the OOGs is becoming so problematic, because I'm happy to say that the government is finding a very good solution to make sure that they be able to track this OOGs, these excavators, wherever they may find themselves in the country. It's a good idea, but the permit to these owners and for them to come and clear their containers, it's keeping long. So we really have a lot of OOGs sitting out there.
Right.
So if you see our balance at MPS, it means many of them are OOGs. It's about, currently we are having almost 335 OOGs sitting there.
Wow.
And everywhere in the port is full with OOGs. Any small corner, we put it there. And if you know the port as you may, every little space we get, we evacuate the containers. So the space that we see is a commercial space. I always want people to appreciate that. The port space, no matter how big or small it is, it's commercial space.
Absolutely.
So if you're a consignee or an importer, know that that space must be taken as soon as you create that space for another person. So you don't need to let your container sit there for long.
Right. Thank you very much indeed. So, yes, you want to add something?
Yes. I mean, we are happy about the new changes that are happening at GPHA.
Right.
But hitherto, the oncoming of this new DG, the military man brigadier, and the moves that he's doing, GPHA has been one of the problematic operators hitherto that. And
is that so?
Mr. Songo too, better.
So?
I mean, we had a lot of challenges with container transfers. And that also accounts a lot for the challenges we have.
Right.
Because if your container has arrived and you do not have access to the container, how do you clear it?
Right.
Yeah, they've managed to, get rid of most of these containers until a new vessel came in. They have done a good job, we must admit.
Right.
But hitherto, that has been our bane. Container transfer challenges have been our bane at the port, because 2 weeks, sometimes you are struggling, you are ready to pay.
Now it's been done. 15
you are ready to pay and you can't get it.
The remaining 15 will come in next week, God willing.
And a quick one. Another one challenge that causes the delays is also this PMD issues. I mean, when you have a facility like pre-manifest declarations, and you can do it before your cargo arrives, and you start the process, the system starts counting immediately.
Right.
So you hit the 21 days by the time it's in, and then you have to start the clearing processes.
Right.
The system has been, it's been tuned a certain way. The system manager will tell you. So, that affects you. So by the time you started the processing, and let's say touchwood, it gets to the port, the vessel is finally in, and then you find a few of these challenges, that she has enumerated. Your container might end up going on to UCL.
Right.
And by the time you do whatever you have to do, it's there.
Right.
The biggest challenge is that you are in the process of clearing, and then you are told that your container is going to UCL.
Yeah. It happens?
Yeah, it happens all the time. When you are actually ready to pay for the money and you are in the process.
If I may come in.
Yes.
The 21 days starts counting from when tally has been approved after discharge. So it doesn't start counting once you start processing your declaration. If it's PMD, it starts counting after discharge. Remember when I was trying to explain what overstayed boxes are, I said after discharge.
Right.
Now, if it's on UCL, whatever you are doing, the system will allow you until at the point where you are either matching manifest or you are about releasing cargo.
Okay.
Then it lets you know. So we are supposed to be checking, like Mr. Logistic Manager said.
Yes.
We have means to track and know. I mean, you have manifest details, you have some of these things with the right education.
Yes.
And we ourselves being conscious about what we are doing, some of these things can be avoided.
Right.
But the pre-manifest declaration is something that has been enhanced in this to ensure that containers don't overstay.
Yeah.
So you process your declaration, you pay, then you only wait for cargo arrival. Once your cargo arrives, you continue the process.
Sure.
So whilst doing that, if it goes on UCL, you should be able to know.
Right.
You understand? Because somebody too is seeing that feature as a good thing for them.
True.
So we have to make use of some of these procedures to help us.
Great.
And the challenge is, I mean, once you are clearing and then you realize that it's gone on UCL, you are in trouble.
Okay.
You are in trouble.
Okay.
The bureaucracy is mind-blowing.
Right.
I mean, this is the process that you are undertaking in Tema. Then you have to now start checking to headquarters.
Yeah, to and fro.
To and fro. And I mean, in the name of trade facilitation, that Ghana has signed on to, we are pleading to the new commissioner. He should send back UCL processing to the sector commander.
Right.
They are capable of doing it. I don't know if there are anything, I don't know. The highest thing I can think about is maybe there are trust issues.
Right.
I don't think so. But the UCL should be done in Tema.
Right.
Why do you have to be going back and forth to Tema, to headquarters?
Yes.
When you send in that UCA application, 21 plus the 9 days, 30 days, and you have to put in the application to commissioner.
Yeah.
Sometimes 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The document has not moved.
Right.
She knows the process is 2 weeks, and commissioner is not available to sign. I'm even thinking this whole business of going to headquarters, it should be a sector commander business. They should handle it there.
Right.
They are capable. They have the capacity.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it's supposed to frustrate people because UCL means you are paying so much more money. Already you are in the process of clearing and you realize it's going on UCL.
Yeah.
That means the processing, you have actually suspended processing.
Yeah, stalled, the process
and you
stalled,
have to go back and forth.
Yeah.
Things that could be done, the verification, all those things can be done at Tema.
Right.
I mean, if they even want to still remain manual, because otherwise it can be, the application can even be done on ICAMS.
Yeah.
You should be able to put in the application, not a manual one taken to headquarters. Put it through on ICAMS, get approval. If it's commissioner that still wants to approve it, he can approve it anywhere in the world by virtue of computer.
Yeah.
That nobody has to physically go there.
Right.
We have videos. The deputy commissioner, we had to petition them back in the days, Mr. Ini. Thank him so much for what they did for us. There were queues.
Right.
At headquarters, people are queuing because their things have gone on UCL.
Right.
They have the money they want to pay, and then there has to be restoration. So we are pleading. Not to go back. Madam knows all the challenges we go through.
Right.
That process
Point well made. Yes.
Just a quick comment.
Okay.
Commissioner General, by our law, is the only person vested with that extension.
Yes.
So the procedure, yes, management is taking a look at it and to see how it will be reviewed to serve your interest. I know we are all partners in GH Incorporated, so sometimes it's better we write to the appropriate quarters. They are all listening.
Yeah.
The appropriate quarters, so that our issues can be adequately
we need to go for a break.
addressed.
Yes.
But there are a whole lot of reviews.
When we return, please note
regard.
your point down, sir. Yes, so this is our report here on Metro TV, and tonight we are taking some perspectives from some stakeholders in the port community on how to read our ports of overstayed containers. And with us in the studio is Mr. David Songotu, is the port logistics manager. And we also have Madam Esther Mekuji, who is the Chief Revenue Officer, and she's also the Systems Administrator at the Tema Collection of the Customs Division, Ghana Revenue Authority. And indeed, Nana Fredio Ajimayo Friata is the President of the Customs Brokers Association of Ghana, QBAC. He's also the Executive Secretary of the Committee Council for Associations. associations, yeah, COFAC, yes. And so we're going for a quick break. When we return, I will continue the show, and that's when we'll also activate a phone line for you to call in and also pick your messages. Please stay with us.
Good energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP will feel ya, huh? Will be feel. Goil, good energy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is, you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Welcome to today's edition of Serene Insurance Business News. We present to you Serena. You're right. You can complete an entire insurance process for the purchase of any motor and other insurance products, from onboarding to issuing a motor insurance sticker and policy certificate, all on WhatsApp in less than 10 minutes. Serena is simple to use and it prioritizes user ease and flexibility. You can either use voice notes or text to effortlessly issue your instant policy, cross-platform renewals, claims, and also process your payments through mobile money, Visa, and MasterCard. To engage Serena, just search for Serena Insurance on all social media handles and scan the Serena barcode or save her number 0500 517 114 and start chatting her on WhatsApp immediately. There you have it. Serena is not just a tool, it's an innovation by Serene Insurance designed to redefine how motor and travel insurance are accessed and managed. Speed, convenience, and reliability.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
At Phoenix Insurance, we make the unpredictable predictable and the uncertain certain with our range of products, including motor insurance, fire insurance, engineering insurance, marine insurance, accident insurances, and all types of bonds. We have you covered. We also support you with risk management advice to enable you stay focused on your business. Take a policy with Phoenix Insurance today. We help you rise from adversity stronger and more secure. Contact us on 0302 246319 or 0302 246644 or any of our branches, agencies, and brokers spread across the nation. You can as well connect with us on our WhatsApp chatbot. Efiba is waiting to assist you. Make the future predictable with Phoenix Insurance. Phoenix Insurance, a delightful service experience delivered with wisdom.
All right, so welcome back. We're going straight to the inbox. There are a couple of messages here. But when we come back, I would want Madam to walk us through the process of auctioning, by customs. I know you are not responsible for auctions, but you can give us what it looks like and how you go about it. This one is from Eric in Accra. Eric says it's attractive to deliberately allow goods to overstay at the port. Is it attractive? I think that's a question you want to pose. He says professional agents operating at the port then take advantage operating within the law and clear the cargo at a much reduced cost, which the law also allows. Overstayed cargo clearance operate mainly on the proposition of the congestion and does not require full duty recovery. That's your message, Eric in Accra. We thank you so much for your message. Mausi sent in this one. It says a client imported 5 containers of rice which arrived on 25th February. By 24th April, the containers had been transferred from MPS to Amaris Terminal, and upon few inquiries, they were told that the containers had been emptied. How can this issue be resolved? Let me also announce that the phone lines have been activated. You can call in. Time is running thick and fast. You can call 0245834980, 0245834980. You can call in. That's right here on your screen and contribute to the discussion. Yes.
Yes, so what I would say is that for some of these things, they have to follow up to find out.
Right.
Because it will be on a case-by-case basis. So I can't give a generalized answer to it. But with the auction process, when goods are perishable, you expect that they will be auctioned within a certain time frame.
Right.
But then I will advise her, she has every right to go to our auction unit ahead office with the necessary information.
Right.
Get feedback.
Okay.
Is it 24 February 2024 or 2025?
He didn't add the year, but I presume that it's 2025.
2025?
Yes. He says the good arrived on 25th February, and by 24th April, they said they had been they were transferred to Amaris, and then when they made a few inquiries, the containers had been emptied.
Okay. Well, because I seriously feel that 2025, it is difficult.
Right.
But then, like Madam said, he has to make a case.
Absolutely.
Because 24
so it can be investigated.
Before.
Okay, he says 2025. Yeah, he just sent it.
Yeah, 2025.
Yes.
So and was it gazetted?
That's Prince Markins Botry. Prince Markins Botry. He sent. I think the container numbers. The number is also here. Yeah.
No, it happens. I mean, it's gone down. It's gone down. It's not that rampant like we can just say in 2024. Because by the time you succeeded in doing the restoration, you're going to pay. You know that it's been already allocated to somebody.
Yeah.
By the time you're going to pay on it, it happens to all kinds of, even for transit people. After the 21 days, they go and restore, they pay, but then they come, it's been allocated. You follow up, somebody's going to move the container. He has a check.
Right.
By law, he's the new owner of the goods.
Okay, so let's go on to the phone lines and welcome Prince Mensah from Ashaman onto the discussion. Good evening, sir. Hello?
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, please go ahead.
My name is Prince Mensah. I'm calling from Ashaman Newtown.
Right.
And the best labor local union chairman.
Right.
And I want to greet my boss, Mr. David. You are doing a good job.
Okay.
For giving us education. In our transit side, Depot 10, the workers, we there are suffering because of the delay of the boxes, and the labor workers are suffering because of the delay of the boxes. Because if the gangs work at the night, so normally people robbers attacking them, and then small thief attacking them on the road. So we are begging, they should work on it so that the gangs will work early. The work will start at the depot.
Right. Thank you very much indeed, Prince Mensah, calling us from Shaiman. Okay, this one says, good evening, I am Port and the panelists, particularly Esther and David. As a former teacher at the Customs Academy and former chief revision officer in charge of outdoor Tema Port, I am proud of Esther and her clear explanations for the understanding of all. This one is from Peter Alu. Well, thank you very much indeed. Yes, you know him. All right. Also, so yes, Peter sends his regards. He says you guys are doing a fantastic job here tonight. Okay. Dr. Ayana, Dr. Ayana sent in this one. Dr. Adam Imura Ayana. He says, one, shipping line, that's MSC, is charging UCL management fee. Is he aware? Okay, so let's take Ohima when we come, because Dr. Ayana's thing is a bit lengthy. We'll deal with that when we are done with Ohima on the line. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Ken.
Awesome.
Ohima from Tema. My greetings to Nana Fredio Foriata, Madam Esther, and then the manager, GPHA.
Awesome, great.
Regarding the decongestion, you see, they've made a lot of good points. But I just want to add a few.
Right.
Regarding some solutions. So, for example, you have government agencies, state enterprises bringing consignments like the ECG. And then, for example, last year, we also heard of the Ministry of Health containers, right? So what I want to suggest that if we can profile these people so that they give some prior notice to the ports when they are importing, and if the port can also request them to send certain things to show their readiness to clear when the consignments come, it will really help, because 2,000 containers, you can imagine the space it will take, right? And mostly a private person, a trader will not bring 800 containers that they don't intend to clear for whatever reason. So some of these state agencies are the reasons why we are having the issues. And then also some of the government directives, without recourse to stakeholder engagement prior to the directive, like this recently, the permit about excavators, right? So there's a directive that prevents you from clearing, even though already you had fulfilled a certain requirement, but now it appears the requirement has changed. So if you don't tackle these things, the individual importers are there, they're also contributing, but their weight is not as much as some of these things. Right. And like my boss, GPHA man mentioned, that even if we have a field as big as, let's say, the whole Ghana, we may not be able to fill it because containers will keep coming. So if we look at we can profile importers whose containers stay at the port for long, and we take measures to put in place for them to really clear their consignment or ensure they are ready to clear before we accept them. It will really go a long way. But my final question is with the Unity terminal and the transfer of containers.
Right.
My boss said that he doesn't know the amount yet. And I want to find out who will be bearing that amount or the cost. And eventually we should know so that we can prepare ahead, at least the trading community can be prepared. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed, Ohima. Our own Ohima, we're grateful. Who would want to profile? I think she asked a few questions, maybe quickly.
Yeah.
If we can, run through.
Okay, so
actually we have barely 3 minutes to wrap up.
Well, so thank you so much, Ohima. Management is...
There were suggestions.
Yes, please go ahead.
So management will take a quick decision on that. So far as the transfers and operation at the Unity terminal is concerned, it's going to be comprehensive. So they shouldn't worry. They'll hear from us. It's going to be very, very comprehensive, and it will be attractive as well. I guess.
Right.
About I think you talk about some of the what do you call it, government agencies giving directives and all that. I think I do agree, but you see, some of these directives must be consultative.
Right.
So that we can prepare ourselves.
Right.
You know, this is my house. Right. I do what I want with it. I mean,
absolutely.
If they come, so we need to also begin to, when it comes, we'll give that kind of publicity and kind of education to our customers, which is very, very important for us to do.
Right. This one says, hi team, please inquire from the GPHA man if the Pune terminal has all the logistics and equipment to handle UCL cargo. In fact, the first one that I indicated that was from Dr. Ayana was actually from Romeo Frimpong, and I think that he sent in that one last week when we had Dr. Ayana in the studio, and he wanted his question gone to him. That would have been a thesis, and I'm telling you, there would have been some sweating in the studio, but we unfortunately didn't have it. But tonight is asking whether Chief Songotu can actually confirm that the Unity terminal has all the logistics to handle UCL containers. Just a quick one.
Oh yes, we have more than the logistics. Look, we have all the logistics in place. As I speak, we have stable a full restacker there, 4608, which is a new eco Ristacker for now. And as soon as we have our staff, they move there into the control room, they are receiving the container, they are stacking the containers. Every area is spelled out, ready for to take off.
Right.
So the logistics, yes.
Everything is ready.
Everything is ready.
Awesome. All right. Hi, good evening. I am glad there's a program like this ongoing on our channels. My question is, if I want to engage in procuring an auction car at Tema Port, what's the process, and is there any number I can contact? Well, I think all you need to do is to get to customs.
Yeah, kindly go to the auction unit at our customs head office
yeah, okay.
to make your inquiries.
Right, great.
Yeah.
Okay, and this one says it's attractive. Oh, I think I've taken this one already. This one says, yeah, professional. Yeah, I think I've taken that too. I think that we are sorted as far as the messages are concerned here. So maybe
the issues are raised.
So I just wanted to make a quick comment.
Quick one, yes, please. We have barely 1 minute to go.
You know, most of the time, we are successful at initiatives when we get the buy-in of relevant stakeholders.
Right.
So I want to advise that GPHA will take a second look at that, ensure that all relevant stakeholders, the necessary authorization and everything is acquired, so that when we start, everybody is on board, and then we realize the benefits.
Right. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, if you agree with me, I think that I would need to propose to my bosses that we need a part 2 of this next week, because we haven't had time to digest all the questions that we had for you, and our time is up, for which reason we have to pack bag and baggage and give the stage to another person to come for programming to continue. And so please be on standby for us. I'll go and propose to my bosses, if they agree, we'll have a part 2 of this discussion next week, and that's how we want to draw the curtain on tonight's edition of Iron Port here on Metro TV. We'd like to say a big thanks to our guest, Mr. David Songotu, Logistics Manager, Port of Tema, Madam Esther Amekuji, Chief Revenue Officer and Systems Administrator at Tema Collection Customs Division, Ghana Regional Authority, and indeed, Nana Fredio Ajimayo Freata, who is the President of the Customs Brokers Association of Ghana, is also the Executive Secretary of KUFA. I would like to say a big thanks to our sponsors, Ghana Revenue Authority, Guel PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, MPS, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. Remember, the show is powered by Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. God willing, next week we shall bounce back once again with your favorite Iron Port program here on Metro TV. We invite you to watch our brief version of Iron Port on Wednesday at 8:30 on Ghana Television. My name is Kennedy Mona. Thank you so much. We wish you a blessed week ahead, and we pray that you continue to watch our programs here on Metro TV. Good evening and stay blessed. We are out.